Let's move on to Prop 19. We won't spend a lot of time on Prop 19, but it's really interesting. Why don't we get your take on it?
Yeah, I think Prop 19 has a couple of intricate parts, and I haven't really internalized where I stand on this one yet, but I will share with you what I understand it to be and would love feedback. One of the reasons I do these interviews a lot is because I share my thoughts and we collect comments and feedback and you get more well-rounded. I don't ever proclaim to have all the right answers. I have an opinion. It's mine. It comes from 20 years experience being a landlord, a 50-year resident of California. So this is where it comes from. Prop 19 offers a couple of really cool things. First and foremost, one of the things that is helpful that a few cities or counties have is the ability for, again, I'll use my mom as an example, who's in Santa Clara County. She could, right, under this bill, take her low property tax basis with her if she sold this house and moved to another county, call it the Inland Empire, another county in California, right? There's cross-county agreements where historically, right, she sells her Sunnyvale home for 7 figures and then she buys something in the gold country. She's now up her property tax bill, which is what she did because this wasn't around. If this existed, she could have carried her property taxes from Sunnyvale, which were really low, to her new place where she's retired and hopefully enjoys several decades for the rest of her life. I'm encouraged by that. I think, you know, when we think baby boomers who control most of the wealth, which is, you know, where my mom falls in the generation, she's a baby boomer. I think there's a lot of baby boomers, especially in the Silicon Valley in LA, that have 20, 30, 40 years in a house. Their kids are long gone. They're rolling around in too much space. They would like to do something else, but they are constrained, property tax constrained. So I think it's a very good idea. I think it is something very creative that was created years ago, but this allows it to go statewide. So I support that aspect of it. Where I need to read up on it, and you got to check the language in these bills. There's a second part to this that talks about the rich, the uber rich, the wealthy, the actors, the Silicon Valley CEOs. For the folks that have second homes or third homes or beachfront stuff, non-primary residents, there is some language in there that basically makes it so when the baby boomer passes and then transitions it to Gen X or millennial, that there will be a step up in what's called basis. If that's true, and I can understand what the threshold is, right? Is the threshold $10 million property? Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's not your average mom and pop, right? But is it $1 million? I don't know. There's a lot of Bay Area homes that have eclipsed the $1 million level that could be really impactful. So I got to read that language. I didn't see it in there. It's not one I researched a lot. I definitely looked at 15 and 21 a lot more. But I think in general, 19 has a lot going for it. Certainly the transition, again, going back to my mom moving from point A to point B for property taxes is a good idea. It also encourages brokers should really love it. Real estate agents and brokers should love Prop 19 because you could unlock sales in some of the most expensive parts of the Silicon Valley, right? Go talk to people in their 60s and 70s or maybe even 50s, probably 60s and 70s and go, hey, your Palo Alto home's, worth 2.3 and has been touched since 1950. You want to go somewhere else and move into a new home? I think Prop 19 has a lot going for it. I just need to understand the thresholds. Because again, these propositions are written in a way where sometimes, I don't know if they're purposely confusing, but you got to watch each word because they can be really subtle sometimes.
Very much so. There definitely can be some tricky language. Again, with Prop 19, same type of opinion. I think the being able to go from county to county, statewide, I think is obviously great. I agree that it could definitely create another mini boom, a micro boom within where you have people that have always wanted to go to Sacramento or the Central Valley to be closer to their kids or grandkids or to other parts of the state, that this would then allow them to transfer and take their Prop 13 with them.
Yeah.
Their low tax base.
What I would tell you, Ty, and any agent or broker that watches this, if Prop 19 passes on November 3rd, I would dive in deep and become the Prop 19 expert in your county. And then I would market the hell out of it. I would sell that service. I would do an analysis. I would do 10 videos on it immediately if it passes, because it will be helpful. I truly believe it. If that piece of it, it will be very helpful.